Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Paulina here, talking to you about the full moon in Sagittarius, reporting back from the beautiful mountains of Bagzu in India. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, so this is an early prognose. We've got a few days still, and these days could be really good for fruiting something that has never fruited before. Getting rid of chronic illness. It's a really good time to have a look at how to deal with problems in your body or in your mind that have been bothering you for ages, because this full moon in Sagittarius, I have a feeling has got a very lucid quality, and it can basically push everything that we thought was into the under realms or the over realms. So whatever we thought was impossible can be possible, and whatever we thought was gonna always be there is not gonna be there. Beware if you are pushing something too far. If you are pushing something too far and you're saying, oh my gosh, like this is a window, I can do anything here, I can reform, restructure and recreate things here. And you might be feeling like, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire, or I'm going to push my body to the limit, I'm going to get very fit, very strong in just a week's time. That's not so great. It's basically something that finds you. It's something that finds you, and that's something that has to be nurtured within yourself. So it's something that is very nurturing to experience, and something that is very, very, very vast. Go for the vast and go for the nurturing. For example, massage, or Ayurvedic practice, anything to do with long-term healing, anything to do with herbs and plants can really take a long time usually, but during this time you can perhaps have a cleanse that usually takes you 2 or 3 weeks, but this time it only takes you a week. Anything that is really soothing, everything that's kind, everything that's emotional as well. Emotional bonds can fall. During this time, emotional bonds can fall. And don't be afraid of that, because a lot of us are still holding on to bonds that are not proper. Like they're not actually meant to be between us, and bonds that are not lasting as well. And they can be really harsh. But say, for example, if you can fathom letting go of a bond that's been bugging you for a long time, like you've been in love with somebody for 2 or 3 years and you're not receiving anything from that direction, or you've been wanting to be with a person who's just not emotionally available, do it now. Do it now. Have a look, please have a look. If you've been following a man or a woman who is just not able, especially for the ladies actually, who's just not able to be with you, who's just not cunning, they're not wrong, but they're just not gelling, and we can usually create these kinds of periods during big times of global shift. We can become enamored or in love with somebody who's on the other side of the world, or who doesn't actually even know that we are feeling that way. And if you're one of those people that's in the grid where you are longing for somebody and you think they're my twin flame, I'm not going to be anybody without this person, just stop and look at yourself. Stop and look at yourself, because it's a really good time to justify those things no more. Justifying the things of, yeah, it's going to be hard now, but easy later. Yeah, it's going to take me a lot of years to do this, but it's going to pay off in the end. Anything to do with work for the masculine energy, especially, say, for example, if you've been putting yourself a lot into things and you've been starving yourself of attention, and you've been starving yourself of life, and you've been kind of going about things in a way where it's either work or nothing. It's either you succeed or not. If you are somebody who's been struggling with work, this could be a really nice portal for you to see that you can actually condense what you've been doing over the last 2 or 3 weeks, for example, into just 1 or 2 days. You just have to cut out the work. You have to look at your systems and how you've been working in a completely different way. Maybe you'll find that when you do that, you'll be able to be a lot freer, yes, but also very sad, because you might actually see that half the things you've been doing in your life were not worthy of your time. So that's coming up a lot. Time is being revalued and regridded. And I'm feeling, because this is also coinciding with Jupiter coming out of shadow, not exactly, because I'm feeling that it comes out of shadow properly, like it completely resumes itself on the 19th, but later, even a little bit later, because such a vast planet, you can't really judge it by one day. But on the 9th, it's sort of kind of out of shadow, and when you're looking at Jupiter like that, you might actually see that with money and wealth and income and all the things that are vast for you, all the things that are big or successful, they'll become minuscule. And that's actually something that's really hard to face. Like, for example, you've been working towards a giant company, you've been making a big purpose, and then you're looking at it during this time and you're seeing it that is just a small part of a big picture. It's not actually the picture. And that can be really hard, I feel, for us ladies as well, to actually understand, for many of us, that the men that we have been going towards, or the family lives have been going towards, or the works, the working life that we've been going towards is just like a little fraction of us. And it can be very, very painful, because this is like a beginning of a new cycle. So the previous cycle has ended sometime during the middle of actually June last year, but this is totally the beginning of a new cycle. So when you are looking at the previous things that you've done, the previous books you've written, maybe even, the previous things that you've been concentrating on, especially if those things are outside of yourself, especially if those things are outside, like, for example, the man of your dreams, or the career that you always wanted to do. And you're looking at those things and you're wondering now, why did I never think about it? I mean, why did I never? Because the answer is easy, and the answer is so simple, and perhaps in the last 2 or 3 years people have been giving you the answer anyway, and the answer's always been available to you. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb, I never actually thought of it. It was always available to you. It's just that you didn't take it. So the fast forward button is here. Doing things twice as fast, doing things twice as intensely, and doing things quite openly as well, because we're also undressing old wounds that have been there underneath. So instead of, like, say, sneaking around and thinking about something or thinking about somebody for a long time and not knowing what to do about it, we're going to be able to really face it now, and we're going to be able to tell people, hey, did you know that's what I feel? Or hey, did you know that's what I think? And another thing also about this this transit of the moon is the people that are behind, will race to the top. And I'm feeling that a lot of people that have been dressed to be somebody in the background, or that have been addressed by other people as something that is not interesting, for some reason during this lunar transit will beam. So if you're somebody who's been a wallflower and who's been kind of like sticking around the sidelines, for you there is a chance that things could happen. Also things to do with unrequited love and unrequited passion and unrequited emotional states. Like the people that have been unrequited for such a long time will sort of come forward and understand that what they were requiting was just themselves. And when you understand that you are requited too, perhaps when you can understand that you're not unrequited and you're not somewhere stuck in the middle between things or stuck behind people, I feel that's when you bloom. And I feel also that a lot of men especially who are stuck behind desk jobs, or stuck behind even women, stuck into a home situation where they don't feel that they deserve what they're getting, and they're getting very little. Those people are going to start radiating a lot more frequency. So everything that's been in the backlog, everything that's been stuck and put behind, and all the things that have been unnurtured or unbalanced, all the things that have been diseased or somehow not interesting to us, are going to start coming out of the woodwork. If you have Saturn in your first house, I mean, I've got Saturn in my first house, you might actually see that the moon, I've got Saturn moon conjunct in my first house, the moon is going to accentuate you. So perhaps where you thought there was no drama is going to be drama if you've been hiding from yourself, or perhaps where you didn't think there was much joy or much enjoyment, there's going to be joy. So have a look for that. Perhaps a lot of Saturnian individuals that have very strong placing of Saturn will also feel that what they thought was an enigma is no longer an enigma. What they thought was hard is no longer hard, but also maybe what they thought wasn't useful or, interesting about themselves, wasn't something that they could show people, wasn't something that they could be, is possible. And perhaps if you have a lot of Saturn in your chart, you might see that things are going to be fine. Things are going to be fine. You didn't have to try so hard. You didn't have to do so much work, and even overdone it, maybe some of you. Like you suddenly get a big payout for something that you didn't really think you've done. And another thing also here is understanding freedom because Sagittarius moon is about freedom always, and it is also about your inner voice. And I'm feeling that perhaps for me this is going to be a different shift than for you guys, because I've let go of everything I had, and I have no, how can I say, I have no hopes for anything anymore. You know, I don't hope for anything, I don't dream for anything, I don't want to structure or become anything. I'm just letting go, and I'm completely alive, you know. But many people who have been put into situations for themselves to feel good, like for example, put into a situation like, here's your home, here's your baby, now you have to feel good, will need to readdress that. Or people that have been maybe even traveling for a long time just to take the photos and look good in front of their fans or friends on Instagram and Facebook, they'll understand, what am I doing? And a lot of people that have been put into situations where they felt that they belonged, like homes, family, income, anything like that, any kind of situation where you got to commit and complete something, and you keep on doing things because you thought it was a good idea, or because your parents even thought it was a good idea, or your spouse thought it was a good idea. That's going to come to a very interesting ending for many of us. I'm feeling that people that have been listening to other people also to give them something, and been complying with other people's feelings about work, other people's feelings about children, other people's feelings about family, I feel they'll start to disintegrate. I'm feeling that even a breakdown is possible here if you feel like you've been tied down to somebody or something, especially somebody because you've got Jupiter in Libra, and you found that this person is not here, you know, this person is not here, or even to the point of having a child and knowing that this child means not very much to you, or not as much as a child should mean to a parent. And basically what I'm seeing is that a lot of people will start arguing with themselves over what is meaningful, and I'm feeling a lot of people will start thinking, but hang on, you know, my road has led me here, this is where I belong, but the moon and the sun, they say no, you know, no. That's not where you belong. The best outcome here, if you are stuck between a rock and a hard place and you're not sure which way you should be, or you're feeling really trapped by your circumstances, is to dance and to reach up. It's a very good time for quick release. It's a very nice time for quantum liberation, actually. I have a friend of mine who performs quantum liberation and helps people ascend really fast. I will actually put her details underneath in the caption section. It's very nice for quick shifts, very nice for quick changes, very good to just go out of your mind and come back again. And I'm thinking about doing a plant medicine circle here in India, because it's a very interesting experience, you know, to shift, to quantum shift very fast during this time. It's not going to be, I feel, needed for many of you, you know, you don't have to go extreme, but if you're feeling a stickiness inside, and that something is not able to be free, you're not able to talk to people, you're not able to be yourself, it's an interesting time to do things abruptly. And I'm feeling that raves and parties for this full moon. If you want to go to a rave or a party, or to be surrounded with people who are crazy, or, you know, even on drugs and, you know, under substantial, you know, influence, it would actually be really, really nice to see what that brings, especially if you're not somebody who's usually welcoming of these things. Another thing that I'm feeling for people during this full moon transit is beauty. Beauty is not something that is like wow here, you know what I mean? Beauty is not something that is wow for us. What I mean is, we're not looking for it. You know how a lot of people have an attuned sense to beauty, and they're looking for beauty and pleasure wherever they go. But I'm feeling that here, beauty isn't wow. It isn't. It's not that it's not good or it's not interesting. It's just, it isn't putting us into the same type of longing or need, which is why I feel that relationships are going to become really clear, because we're not seduced by another person the same way as we used to be, but we may need to bring to ourselves new types of beauty just to understand what beauty is. Because of this kind of lull of beauty here, we may want to maybe have a look at where we are with our illusions and where we are with our fantasies, and we may want to explore it through dance or theater, or do something very different to yourself. If you wanted to have a makeover, to create a completely new presence for yourself, especially for the ladies out there, it's a very good time to do that. The feminine is sort of reverberating with a lot more power, and I'm feeling like a heaving chest, or like a raising in frequency of the heart, and also that pulls up towards the face. So actually, if you are a woman of age and who's thinking about getting cosmetic surgery in the next year, actually it's not so bad. In the next couple of months especially, you're thinking about doing cosmetic procedure and you're really worried and you're really ashamed about it, don't. So this is a really interesting time. It's not for every single person in the world, but with this type of energy as we have now, it's an interesting time to get cosmetic procedures. It's an interesting time to wipe 10 years off your face. It's a very good time to have a look at your bones and your skeletal structure, maybe even for some people, for myself, specifically, but for some people as well, and to have a look at how you can realign and relace your body. It's an interesting time to work with fascia, but it's not. So like, for example, if you are a yoga teacher and you're working with yin yoga and you're thinking, I'm going to push my class extra hard because, this month they're going to survive the really intense poses, and I think this is going to be it. I think I'm going to push my class further. Don't do that, because with love and care, things evolve. With soft hands, with soft hearts, with kindness and generosity, with gentle feelings, with gentle understandings, with massage, with bringing people into a really, really nice, comfortable place. So this is a little bit interesting. If you are feeling vulnerable during these experiences and you're feeling like you want to cry and you feel very, very much like a baby in a bad way, that's not going to work. But if you're feeling very smoothed and soothed and like somebody's pouring their love onto you, or you're feeling that something is really, really epic energetically between you and practitioner, and you're feeling that you're really loved and held, that's an interesting time to be serviced. But if your body feels vulnerable, or you're feeling like you're misplaced by somebody in order to make you better, and somebody's like a big parent and you're a little child and you can't really fathom what they're doing to you, or you're not sure what that's going to do to your body, that's not so good. So trust and behavior like between a parent and a child, between you and practitioner, would be very good. And also not to push yourself further than you can. Another thing probably with yoga, actually specifically for practitioners, it's a very interesting time to condense the class into like a holiness, like a feeling of holiness, through spiritual mantra, or through doing things in a different way, connecting people together, and not using them as a competitive tools against each other or against oneself. Just seeing how you go with your class and seeing how much you can get out of these people is not so good. So having a look at how you can connect a joining between people in the class. Another thing, I guess, is the joining between people is going to become a miracle, I'm feeling, because we are in Gemini, of course, and it's a really interesting transit here with Saturn and Mercury, and I guess Uranus to a degree as well. I mean, we're going to maybe start looking at each other in a different wave. So the waves that you receive usually in your brain when you look at another person, like discarding of this, attaching that, looking for this, not looking for that, that's going to end. So that's going to finish, and it's going to bring something new. So if you are somebody who's always looked at people from a standpoint of I don't like her or I like her, you're going to actually find that perhaps this is a really nice window to, for example, you finally start understanding, I didn't actually feel that or this about people ever. I was never judgmental. It was just that I didn't know how to else perceive or how to else feel. So we're going to start thinking and seeing and feeling about people things that are not usually on the cards. We're going to awaken to different feelings and different temperaments between us and other people. But another thing is with this full moon, and full moons, even blissful full moons usually bring a lot of pressure. If you don't want to see yourself in a good light, if you don't want to see another person in a good light, and if you feel that everything is, stuffed up and the world is a terrible place and things like that, it might not become clear until you experience a certain trauma. Like, for example, if somebody steals your bag, or somebody takes your wallet, doesn't give it back, or somebody becomes really, really unfaithful, really untrustful, somebody takes your advice or your pure words, and then they use them against you. That can be very, very much a possibility there if you are not able to see beyond yourself, if you're not able to see beyond your perception of people usually. Another thing is the children. Okay, this is a big thing. Okay, children and lovers, we can work with them in a different way here, and even siblings to a degree as well. So when you are looking at yourself, as a mother, or if you're looking at your child and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't, especially if your child has got ADHD, or they're acting out a lot, or they're crazy or something, and you're thinking, I can't, or my child is too sad, or I don't know what's wrong with her or him, I don't know what's wrong with them, especially with girls, because we're looking at the moon here. But Here you can trust yourself to do better, and you might get an idea of what to do, or your choices will change with your kids, and you might actually find that the tone of voice that you use with people and how you portray yourself with your child is different, and then parenting becomes a lot easier and a lot better. For example, if you always had a certain type of pragmatic outlook on your child, you suddenly might actually understand, oh my gosh, all they wanted was this. This is the only thing that works now. And trust that it is. You know, maybe sometimes you might see that a certain word works. Maybe you tap into a child's unconscious mind and you actually find a certain word or a certain treat or a certain energy works for them better. Like, say, you show them a certain type of your energy, like, you know, you just smile at them and suddenly they stop. You might find that there's a lot of quantum leaps you can do with your own childhood as well. If you want to have a look at your own childhood and how you perceived yourself as a child, or how your mother described you to you later when you grew up, and how come you weren't there? Like, how come you weren't there? For example, if you ever wanted to, once again, have a look at Vicky's link here in the comment section below, work through your old childhood trauma, or having a look how you can quantum shift through a large variety of traumatic experiences. Here you can. If you've been abused and things like that, it's not a good time to speak about it openly or get really angry or in your face about things that have been abusive in your past, but it's a really interesting time to quantum shift through those feelings and make it easier for you, and to forgive as well. And another thing is loving people, you know, sexuality, love and romance. That's going to change. That's going to change big time. I'm feeling that we are no longer in the cycles of compete with me, complete me, you know, need me, want me. This is going to shade away. This is going to shade off, and it's going to become a different frequency. So with us, instead of saying I need me to be wanted, I want me to be needed, you'll start saying I want me to be happy. I want me to be happy. I want to feel what I'm feeling. I want to see what the quality is of what I'm feeling. This is not the top. This is not the top. This is not the best way to go either, but it's going to shift there. And then within a few years, it's going to shift again. So with us in our relationship situation and how we interact with ourselves in a loving bond, we might actually find that sex becomes liberation instead of stagnation. We might find that sexual energy with another person is becoming more clear or more obvious. We don't have to shut our eyes and think of England anymore. You know, if a lot of people still doing that, we don't have to continue these types of cycles with people when we don't actually know how it works, but we're trying to make it. And I feel we're also quite telepathic now, so we can actually maybe believe that they can feel us a lot more than we expect. So with lovers and love making, I'm feeling that a lot of people will actually understand how deep that goes, and how little perhaps they could have done earlier, or how small of a chance they've given to themselves to really perceive and to really explore and really expand. And this is not about physicality and the physical parameters of the body, you know, or the proportion of the different organs. It's just about yourself and how you feel in a bond with that person. And a new thing as well I'd like to mention is galactic star stuff, star people and star beings. Okay, that's something very, very healing for me, perhaps not for you. So if you don't want to talk about this, you don't want to think about it, you can turn off the video now. But I'm feeling that stars and the stars within us are resonating, and I feel that we are becoming a lot more open to the intergalactic consciousness. And I'm feeling that many of us, you may notice you are becoming somebody who's softened by this idea of extraterrestrial experience, or you are softened by the feeling of having an extraterrestrial body once, or you might actually find that the extraterrestrial energy within yourself, or the feeling of being an extraterrestrial just visiting a planet, is increasing. And also in terms of star beings and star seeds and all of that stuff, you might actually want to have a look at it now. You might want to have a look as to how you've come here, why you can speak different languages in your mind, or why you do things that are very different. Why is there like almost like a different species energy to you than your neighbor? Like, what is it about that? And why is this alien frequency tapping into us? What is this? What is that? Why is NASA like this? Why is space like that? We might find new discoveries out there and think, oh my gosh, that's not new. I always knew that. You know, recently they've been looking at Jupiter, and I found all these different vortexes on Jupiter, and you might say, I always seen Jupiter like that. I always knew that Jupiter was exactly like this. Why are they only discovering it now? So intergalactic consciousness is switching way on, And I feel that a lot of people will not know it, but they're communicating, they're designing a new life on other parallel universes, other parallel how can I say, realities. I'm feeling that people can actually now tap into what they've been before and how they're going to go after this lifetime. And I'm feeling that people actually starting to sort of understand where they'd like their lifetime to go. Not just this one specifically too, but I feel that people are actually unclouding the feeling of interdimensional vortexes where they used to belong and where they're going to be. I'm feeling that we are awakening to a past life karma with this planet, also why we've come here in the first place. And I'm feeling that this is not about what we're here to do in this lifetime, what we're patching up in this lifetime. I'm feeling that we're going to actually open up in this vortex to the greater being that we were and what we're going to greater be, and how we've come here in the first place, and what is this prison school of earth anyway, and what is it that we actually have come to be, and why is it that we're not yet there. So the bigger picture of your purpose and your lifetime is going to come clean. And I'm feeling for the next 3 or 4 years this is going to explode. I feel that we're not going to just think, what's my purpose? Should I run a restaurant, or should I buy a boutique, or should I do makeup, or should I do hair, or should I do personal training and yoga? No, it is going to become more like why your body is inhabited by your spirit. What is the point, and what is the greater dimension of focus for you? And that's something that I'm finding really interesting, because I'm noticing that jobs are cheap. Work is cheap, talk is cheap. And there is something beyond us that we just need to embody now. And it is even not about doing, it's not about crafting, it's not about making. Although a lot of people who come to me want to know how to craft for themselves a life where they're doing something, making money for it, and creating a career and a purpose. But there's going to be something new. There's going to be something new. And perhaps you've been waiting for this. And I'm feeling that this is going to be a new portal for us, as we understand that perhaps somebody's got a very interesting sight. And they don't have to explain what they see, or they explain how they see. They just look. They just look. And this is them, Or somebody's got a very interesting heart, and all they have to do is help that heart beat with more freedom. And that's their purpose. They just need to evaluate not who they are inside anymore. Maybe they just have to stimulate themselves through the actual physical experience to help their heart increase in its power. And I feel that for me there's going to be a big change as well when I understand that there is no purpose here, and all I had to do was just to evolve or devolve parts of myself. I just had to be still, and I had to understand what it was just to be me in a space and time without doing. And this is how I feel a lot of karma gets shared, is when you understand or recognize, I never needed to be a particle for another person. I never needed to be a catalyst. I never needed to be a service, or I never needed to be a vortex for somebody else, or a special person in someone's life. I never had to do that. And you might actually need to figure out where you are in your soul, and how good it feels to do really simple things. And I'm just starting to awaken to it, but a lot of people are of course there and have been for a long time. But sometimes, when you're sitting down and you're just feeling your body move, and in that interdimensional state, you're winning. Like, you're basically there, you are at the top of your game. And it might be very, very silly, but for another person it might just be the chance to walk when they're moving their system and they're walking towards something or away from somebody. It's a very nice feeling, and they don't need to do anything else. Walking is basically what it is. And it sounds really, really preposterous to think that a purpose of life could just be sitting and watching, or just using the hands and stroking, or just walking around and looking. That could be, that could be a purpose. And I feel we are starting to open up to that sometimes people in this game, in this matrix, in this game of life here on earth, we don't need to service another person the way we were thinking that we should have. We could have just been, and it could have just been a simple task of just sitting and feeling, because we are raising a very big energy here when we are doing what we sort of came to be. And I'm feeling that there is a strongest organ for each person, and they represent a certain part of the digestive system or a certain part of the reproductive system. And just with them in the mix, if they're healthy and they're happy within themselves and they're powering through, then other people benefit automatically, and we become healers of each other just through being ourselves, just through being basic and really maybe vulnerable to, and the fact that maybe all we can really do in mastery is just sit and watch, or all we can really do in mastery is just jump. And I'm feeling that this is a healing phase for me as well, recognizing that people don't have to do the stuff that they thought they would do before they came here. You know, that's another quantum leap for me as well. I mean, I'm feeling that people don't have to concentrate or commute or commune in a way that they thought they would even before this lifetime. Things are a lot simpler. So your chart, when you look at it, it can cool, you know, like be really nice, but at the same time it can also be partially discarded or partially put away, because there is a bigger picture beyond astrology. There's a bigger picture beyond the soul and how it's come in any kind of, you know, constellation or any kind of sign or any kind of prophecy that was given to you before you were born, that we're actually beyond this grid of the solar system, because most people that have come here are not from it, and they don't have to be in any kind of grid. And that is actually something really fascinating, because it's just freedom from life itself. It's like freedom from yourself, and that's something very deep, I feel, that will be discovered later in the year, for myself anyway. But I'm feeling for many of you, perhaps it's already happening. It's almost like I don't actually need to talk. I don't need to be. I don't even need to see. I just need to, and it might be something small, like I just want to touch a plant, or I just want to look at my feet. I want to stretch my toes. It might be something very different, because the freedom of the locomotive system inside the body, you know, the freedom of the different genes inside the body, the freedom of the electromagnetic field, that's all turning on, and it's switching to its own beat, to its own heart, and to its own program. And it's not about you or I thinking, you know, I need to evolve my stamina, I need to evolve my muscular tissues, I need to get stronger and bigger and better, or I need to breathe with more heart. It's not like that. It's like, we're just gonna have to allow it. We're just gonna have to allow it, and presume it to be good as well, because sometimes you might actually find yourself in situations where you don't want to sit with another person, you want to sit by yourself. You don't want to do yoga for the 3rd time this week. You actually want to go for a walk and just sit and look at the sky. You don't want to go to the gym 3 times a week. You might just want to evolve through other things. And you might actually find that like shedding weight or putting on muscle is a lot easier when you're just in unison with yourself. Anyway, this has been a very enlightening energy to work with. Thank you very much for listening. If you would like to know more about me, look at the links below. Once again, check out Quantum Healing, Quantum Shifts by Vicky. She's really quite amazing at creating fast change for people, and she's very holding. She's very beautiful. She's very lunar as well, and very earthly at the same time. She's a beautiful person. If you want to know about last month's results in terms of the free readings, I've decided not to put them online anymore, because it felt to me too voyeuristic for people. So I'm going to still call a winner every month. So this month's winner was Georgia. Thank you very much, Georgia, for donating this month. So you're going to get a free reading and free Skype and everything like that. So if you'd like to donate to my channel, only if you want to, and if you felt that it made some kind of difference in your life, or it's helped you along in some way, then, you know, go ahead, and around the next new moon I will draw a winner. Thank you very much. And also with everybody who donated, I do a reading, but it is a personal email, so it's no longer online. Thank you very much, and I'll see you another time. Bye.